Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh, how many are there right now? Four of you. Well, hopefully, we'll get a few more people in soon. Give it a few minutes. But good morning to you all. Let's see here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Alrighty then. So, what di ton chow? How's everybody doing? How's your weekend going? How's your Saturday night if you're in the U.S.? How's things? How's things? I wasn't going to stream today. I always stream when I don't think I'm going to stream, but I wasn't going to stream today because there was a UFC fight on, and I thought, oh well, Sunday morning, that's the norm. But it was in Qatar, so it was on last night, so I had to stay up late. So it started at 10 o'clock, and it was over like 3:30. So I was up late. I didn't sleep much, but that's okay. I'm here now. Now today we're going to talk about how to avoid getting your bank shut, your bank account shut down here in Thailand. At least it'll give you uh, a greater chance of not having your bank account shut down. And if it happens, you'll have a few things in place that can make things easier. So today we're going to talk about this, and this is something that every expat, every retiree, every tourist staying longer than 2 weeks, and honestly, anybody who is here in Thailand, if you want to deal with your finances with any kind of a Thai account, you need to understand this because you don't really realize how fast your financial life can be shut down here until it happens. And the reason that I'm discussing this is because one of our viewers, and he's a frequent visitor of the chat, Jim, he went and changed his phone and he had all kinds of problems. So that's why we're talking about this because I thought about it and I thought, oh, well, you know what? We need to talk about this. This needs to be handled. And there was a couple of things that maybe he did or didn't do that might have made things easier, maybe not. But at least he would have had a better chance had he done these. I think it was two things. But I'm going to get into that. And we're going to talk about a little something else for a moment. But first thing you need to understand is this is Thailand, TIT. This is not your country. And I'm absolutely sure that the Thai government, uh, they would like to do their best for the country. And like it or not, believe it or not, I do believe that's what they want. And I'll tell you something. I just got a message, I don't know, an hour or so ago from a guy, and he's talking about, well, I like it when they have a website, and I don't like the apps, and they don't care what you like. Okay, it's nothing personal. It's they're doing what they feel is best for them. If they feel like the websites are a loser, they won't give you a website. They'll give you an app. And that's what a lot of places are doing. They're forcing you to use the apps on the phone. They're forcing you to use a phone and not just your laptop or your computer. But when you change phones here, it can be trying, it can be frustrating, it can be problematic. But what you need to really do is just take a deep breath and remember Jayin Yen. If you're in Thailand, you'll have to learn that Jayin Yen. Just keep a cool heart. Just keep cool. And hopefully it will all work out. In most cases, it does. It may take more time than you like. It may irritate you, but you got to stay calm because if you don't, it's going to really make things difficult for you. And if you don't do things the right way, uh, it's just going to really, it just compounds things. But if you don't have your phone set up properly, your app set up. If you're not able to use your app, what that means is no online payments through your app, no Lazada, no Shopee, no Grab, no 7-Eleven if you have it connected to your 7-Eleven. And your bank is basically saying, "Who are you?" They don't know who you are, and they don't really want to know who you are. Let me get this straightened out here. Um, and I've seen it happen to countless people. Jim was just, he was another casualty, and it happens. It could happen to me. I understand that. So far, so good. Knock on wood. But um, you know, we got to talk about this a little bit, so that it'll put you in a better position. That's the idea, to put you in a little bit of a better position than you would be in if you just were just doing things as normal. You got to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. And we're going to break down exactly what the system is and what's going on behind the scenes, and more importantly, how you can avoid having a time of it the next time that you buy a new phone and you're changing over to a new phone. So stick around, get comfortable. If you've ever been locked out of your bank account because of this kind of nonsense, let me know in the chat. But we're going to dig into it all. In case you don't know, I'm Scott. I'm an American who's been living here for 30 plus years. Uh, and if you like this stream, please, I make all kinds of videos and live streams and everything. But uh, if you like this live stream, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe, and remember to hit the notification bell so you'll get all the upcoming live streams and videos. Also, if you need a consultation, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Now, this morning I had a thought, and this was a financial thought, but it had to do with PayPal. Because in March of 2022, they changed their policies, and basically they blocked out a lot of people, but they blocked out foreigners mainly from using the Thai version of PayPal. Now, you can use a US version. I didn't have one. Um, I had one a long time ago. I closed the account. I didn't use it anymore. I just thought, I don't need it. Then I came here and I thought, I'll just open the Thai one. I had the Thai version of it. And when they announced these policies, I thought not having PayPal in Thailand is going to be a huge pain in the ass. And I'm going to miss out. I'm going to lose out on money. I'm not going to be able to make transfers. I'm going to have all kinds of problems. Because it was a Thai PayPal account, and they basically said, as of this day, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. Um, so I thought it was going to be a big pain, and what happened was that it caused me no grief at all. That really surprised me. I mean, it was like, oh, I can't use PayPal. All right, well, every once in a while I get some money through PayPal, but you just use another method. There are many, many methods, but PayPal is available here in Thailand, but it requires that users sign up for the NDID, which is the National Digital ID platform, to use their personal accounts. You can have a business account, you got to use all your business paperwork. And users can then pay online and shop with a linked credit or debit card, but adding money to the PayPal balance is not an option. Okay? I think you have to have it transferred to you, or you have to receive a payment. But supposedly there is a digital platform, national digital ID platform, being worked on for foreigners, but I'm not sure when it'll be finished. I don't know that anybody really does. And that said, there are plenty of other options that are as good or better than PayPal. Personally, I think PayPal is dying. It's not really, but their growth in the past few years has kind of decelerated. But it is evolving, it's maturing, um, but it's facing a lot of pressure because of all the other options that there are out there. It was explosive when it first started. People were like, "Oh my God, I can transfer money. It's so easy." Well, now there's a lot of places like that. Um, there are other options: Wise, Stripe, Revolut, D Money. bank transfer. There's all kinds of other methods. And contrary to what I thought, PayPal it's really no longer what it once was, say 5 years ago, 10 years ago. The fees are rather high, and there are just too many other options that are better than they are. So I thought I'd bring that up. Some people don't know. Oh, you can't use if you have a PayPal account, you have to have a PayPal account from your home country. Okay. All right. So before we get started, let's go over the exchange rate. It's 32.39 right now. Air quality is 75, which is moderate. It's a little chilly out. 71 degrees. High of 88, low of 70, and the feel like temperature is 72, and the humidity is 81. It's going to be cool all through this coming week and until next week, and then it will start to be a little bit sunny. So anyway, the weather's pretty good here. I can't complain. You go out, you don't have to turn the air on now. You go out, it's nice and cool. Yesterday I wore a sweatshirt, which is, I don't think I've worn a sweatshirt in Thailand for many, many years. It's been a long time since I did. All right, so, wow, nobody here? Is there anybody here? What's going on here? Come in and say hello. Don't be shy. Do whatever you got to do. But I don't have one comment in here now, which I find a little bit strange. I guess everybody's listening. Yo. Yes, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, hello. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? How you doing? What's happening? Well, at least we have 3 people that commented. Oh, joy. Anyway, whatever. Listen, you want to talk, you can talk. You don't want to talk, up to you. Um, what is this here? Oh, God. All right, let me start with, I got this message from Jim, and this is kind of a perfect example of how things can go wrong. And it's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just doing what he does here. Now he has one bank account. I don't know. I think he said he got another bank account, but someone gets a new phone, right? And you would think it's no big deal. I've had, I don't know how many versions of iPhone I've had, at least 5. I mean, I started out, I had the iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 6, iPhone 11, 13, and now hopefully I'll be getting the 17 sometime soon. I don't know. Uh, but when you go to your phone and you open up, say, let's just use Bangkok Bank. Okay, it doesn't have to be Bangkok Bank. It could be any bank, but you go to your banking app and it says you need to register your device, which is fine. So it asks for the passport number and you put it in. And then it says delete the app from your old phone. And he did it. Okay? Again, not his fault. You're just doing what they say to do. He's trusting the system. But that is a mistake. If you can get away with it, you don't delete the app. And that's where you need to start thinking about things, because this is how quickly things can go wrong. He went ahead, installed the app on the new phone, and the app says your passport is invalid. You got to go to the branch. And I think this was on a Saturday or maybe it was a Friday night, which means you can't do anything at the branch until Monday. Now, maybe you can go into a mall branch or something like that, but they may not be able to help you. So that's one thing. Now, I've seen it to where a guy goes in and because of an electrical outage or something like that, the bank just said, oh, sorry, our system is down. We can't do anything for you. And it's like, well, you got to wait. And you don't know how long you're going to wait. Go have lunch. You come back, oh, the system is still down. And you're like, I don't want to wait around forever. And you just decide to leave. So maybe you go to another branch. They tell him they can't help him because he doesn't have proof that he owns the phone number. The same number that he's owned for many, many years. Now, listen, I've owned my phone number for probably 20 years. I had one phone number before this, and I don't remember what happened, but I changed phone numbers. And it took me a long time. And I will say, I'm not going to name the bank, but it took me a long time at this one particular bank. I put in the change twice, and they were supposed to send it to the head office. I guess they did. I don't know. But nothing was changed. Finally, I went in and I said, listen, I've sent it in twice already, and you haven't changed it. What's going on? Oh, okay. So they went ahead the third time. The third time was the charm, and they got it right. Now, if you're trying to get your AIS working, uh, you got to get everything set up with AIS. Now you already have it set up, but maybe you pay the bill early and you get a receipt with your name on it, and then you take it to the bank, and or maybe you get a paper that says this is your number. We confirm you own this phone number. So you go back to the bank, you fill out forms, you take the photos, the whole things, and then um, they tell him that his identity cannot be verified because he wasn't clean shaven. Now, this was a concern of mine. I went into Kasikorn. And at Kasikorn, they said, well, your passport has you with a full beard. You don't have a full beard now. It took them like 6 attempts to verify my identity. Finally, on the last one, she goes, woo, oh, we got it. And I was like, okay, so you can't make this stuff up, and this is kind of what we're dealing with. And it could be anywhere in the world. It just happens to be that we're in Thailand. So this is how it works. Like I said, you're in Thailand. This is Thailand. So just remember Thailand. Don't think about how things are in your own country because it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And quite frankly, the people, they're there just doing their job. They're like, oh, well, we got to get you working again. Okay, well, I'm trying. And then they try everything and they go, well, I'm going to have to talk to my supervisor. And then they've got to wait and, all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. For most people, for some people, we'll say, you can go to the ATM, assuming you have an ATM card. And you can go into the bank and deposit and withdraw funds there. But first of all, who likes to go to the bank? And second of all, listen, I'll go to the ATM, but it's a pain in the ass to do things. No online payments, no food orders, no Grab unless you pay cash, no Lazada, no Shopee, all these things. I have a lot of things set up with my virtual Wise card, okay, because I have not received my physical Wise card. It should be here this week. But I pay Spotify, I pay Netflix, I pay uh, Apple, I pay for quite a few things using my virtual card with Wise, and I don't have any problems with my Wise account. Okay, but here in Thailand, you may have problems. So going to the ATM is not. I mean, it's an option to get some cash, but it's not really the greatest option. Okay, so why does this happen and how can you avoid it? Um, and really, what I want to know, we got these people in the chat now, but I'm wondering, has anyone ever dealt with this kind of issue? And how did your story work out? How did things go for you? Because I've had a few problems. And basically, I just went in, I took care of things. They said, I need this, I need that, boom, 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 and it was done. It didn't take me any time, and I have not had any problems with the system and the way that things are going here now. Uh, Again, knock on wood. Hello, everybody. Listening first and comment. Good morning. How you doing? I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you. AI working so well, huh? I don't know. I don't. I use AI. I make my script and I use AI to make my script to figure everything out, to spell check it, to do everything like that. But other than that, I don't really use AI that much. I do use it for my thumbnails, um, but that's about it. Hi, Scott. Enjoying your show and advice from Australia. Okay, great. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Oh, Cyrus, that's you. Cyrus, how you doing? Transferring money from home has always been a pain. Well, it's not a pain now. I don't know where home is, if it's in Australia, if it's in the US, wherever it is, but it's very easy now. It's a piece of cake. Okay, I don't even use my US. I have two, how many do I have? I have two ATM cards from the US right now. And I should be getting the third one pretty soon. So, hey Jim, how you doing? This is the Jim. Jim, tell us about your little ordeal that you had with your phone and switching the phone and all that kind of thing. What a pain in the neck it was. That's I'm going over this, and there's a couple of things that maybe you could have done to alleviate some of the problems, and maybe it wouldn't have done anything, but there's always the chance that it can. And having a second bank account is something. But personally, I don't keep much money in a Thai bank account because I have Charles Schwab, I have Truist, I have Wise. So I don't need to. I don't want to. Now, I like having the accounts because if I need the money and I need to transfer money and that kind of thing, I can do it. I always keep, 3 to 5 thousand just in one account for little things like uh, motorcycle taxis, Grab, that kind of thing. It all comes out of one account. Then I have another account that maybe I transfer the money and I use it for groceries, but usually I use my Charles Schwab account for groceries. So there are some things that you can do, but let me just continue here. Um, Now, unlike Thai IDs, which the number stays the same, okay, in Thailand, the numbers stay the same. With passports, the numbers change. So the Thai banks don't really trust the foreign IDs. They're not really certain about the foreign IDs. So every foreigner is basically treated like a temporary visitor, even if you've been here 30 years. Okay, it's just the way that things are. Bought a new phone, tried to install banking app. It refused to install, telling me that I needed to go to a bank office. Now, it didn't install at all, but you deleted the other app first, or what happened? Curious to know. Because supposedly if you keep your app on the old phone, you don't delete it, you install your new app, you get it all set up, and you keep the old app on there even if you're not logging in, because you can't log in because it will only let you log into one device. But you don't do anything, you don't even delete it. That way, in case something happens with the new account, after about 48 hours, it should update and everything should be okay. But it's hit or miss, baby. That's the way that it is. Went to bank office and showed them my passport and submitted a bunch of forms. Yes, I know, but what happened with the app? Could you install the app on the new phone? But when you tried to install everything new, it wouldn't let you. Or would it not install the app at all? That's what I'm curious about. Your passport obviously should match what the passport of record that's on your phone, on your in your account, and whatever is the passport number should be the same number. Everything should be consistent. That's the basic thing. That's the premise here. Everything should be consistent. Your photos should be consistent. Your passport should be consistent. Your mobile phone number should be um, consistent. Everything should be consistent. Phone number, passport, beard, whatever it is. It should be consistent the whole way through. And it's not always easy to do that because you think about it and you go, oh, well, I just got a little stubble here. And then they go, oh, sorry, we can't verify you. And it's like, it can be very, very frustrating, to say the least. The system is built kind of, it's a rather old architecture. A new phone isn't just a new phone to them, it can be viewed as a threat. You have a new SIM, a new device ID, and a new OS version. They're trying to keep the scammers out. You know, I had kept my app on my old phone where I would access via Wi-Fi, but in order to install a new phone, it said that I had to delete. Yeah, so you should have turned your phone off, then put the new one on the new phone. But I don't know how that works, if it didn't work for you or what happened. But in theory, that's what you should have done. Just turn the phone off and then install on the new phone. But see, all these kind of things are the kind of thing where you go, I didn't know this. Nobody tells you about this stuff. And so whether it works or not, if it's going to work, how are you supposed to know? You know, maybe somebody like me can tell you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, but maybe it will. And so if you had known this, then it might have worked for you. I don't know. That's the thing. I'm just as uncertain as you are, you know. Their system, until you get everything verified, it forces manual verification, but it goes on red alert because to you they could be you could be a scammer, or worse yet, you could be, something else. You just got to think about that, and you think about the bank is trying to protect themselves, and I don't know how much they're going to get hit for, but I don't think they've been hit for all that much, but you never know. I've heard various figures, millions of bought and that kind of thing, but I don't know exactly, what it is specifically. I think they're trying to protect against numerous different problems that can occur. And they're trying to make sure that you are who you say you are. That's the bottom line. The bank, they said that they needed proof that I was the owner of the phone. I went to AIS and paid a month in advance to obtain a printed receipt. Okay, I understand that, Jim, but what I'm saying is you had your old phone. You should have shut that off, then installed the app on your new phone, and then you should have been able to install through there. Should have. I don't know that that's always going to be the case. It depends on the bank. And I know that Bangkok Bank can be a little bit difficult at times, but they're not my favorite bank, to be honest. I like Corn. I used to like SCB, but I didn't really like the way they handle things. But then when I went back again, and I said, I want to make sure that I get verified. I have my facial recognition done, blah, blah, blah. And the lady said, oh, no problem. Boom, she got it done. I was like, what's the problem here? There was no problem. So the delete your old app thing can be a trap because you don't really want to trust that instructions. I have several apps that I maintain on both laptop and phone. I didn't think there would be Yeah, I didn't think there would be an issue. I understand that. I know. Who thinks there's going to be an issue? But if you, well, the bank wants it a certain way, and that's how it's got to be done. That's the bottom line. But supposedly, you do not delete your app. Whether they tell you to or not, just shut your phone off. Okay, shut your old phone off. Then on the new phone, try to install it. If it doesn't install, then you just got to go in. That's all. But you wouldn't normally trust that instruction. Uh, you think you can trust your bank to tell you what to do and everything, but listen, I don't want to get into that. Okay. Your old app is your authentication. If you delete it, you kind of chop away at your own lifeboat, so to speak. And if you keep the old, if you can keep it, then you want to keep it on your old phone. Now, the phone verification is rather primitive. Like I said, you could have a beard and it can confuse the phone, the photo verification. Glasses can confuse it. Bad lighting can confuse it. So it's kind of amazing that this kind of tech is what's being used now. And I suspect it's being used around the world, not just in Thailand. There are a lot of places where the tech could be better. Okay. Will I have to repeat that for each bank? Potentially. You might. I have not had to do that. It was a quick update for me when I changed mine. Um, but I know some people have problems with line and all kinds of things. When they had my passport and they requested to take my photo, they told me maybe system will not recognize you because you're not clean shaven. Well, it depends on what your photo was like that they have already, or in your passport rather. It depends what your photo is like in the passport. If you're not clean shaven in the passport, then it should recognize you. But I tried to register for True Money. I will tell you this. I got all the way through it, and then it said, "Okay, we got to verify your face," and it verified something, and then it said, "Okay, one more verification," and then it kept giving me "cannot verify, cannot verify, cannot verify," and I was like, "I'm the same guy. It's me. I'm not a scammer. I just want to be able to use it. That's all." Because 7-Eleven doesn't allow you to use the QR code, or at least they didn't used to. Now I don't care because I go to 7-Eleven and, I don't even go to 7-Eleven very often. I mean, I haven't been to 7-Eleven in a couple of months. And when I go, I don't go and buy my meals there. I don't buy all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, I gave up on it. It's just a pain. And it's like, listen, these apps are supposed to help you. They're not supposed to be a huge pain in the neck. Oh, you look like Charles Manson minus the tattoo. Well, that would explain it. Um, if you got long hair and a scruffy beard, and then you go in and you got a little bit of stubble, that's a difference. It's not consistent. And unfortunately, that's just the way that it goes. I mean, they're trying to protect themselves. And, like I told the guy this morning, they don't really care what you like, what you want, how you feel. They can't. And actually, I did a video, and I will just say it right now. Um, yeah, I don't care about 7-Eleven. Honestly, I really don't care about it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't need 7-Eleven. It's just like CJ, whatever that is, and the Big Seek, the Quick Mart, and all. I don't need anything. I'm not going shopping for my groceries there. I don't need it. I don't care about 7-Eleven. They got eggs and bananas and, in a pinch, they got marginal coffee. They got water. Okay, great. But like to go for a meal? No. I don't want to go for a meal. Not to 7-Eleven. There's a lot better food to be had than 7-Eleven food with preservatives in it. It's just not for me. Uh, the thing is that yes, many requests need to go through the main office. And what's funny is I told this story a little while ago. I put my US, this is the last time I've used this ATM card. I put it into the ATM at Bangkok Bank. Now, Bangkok Bank was not open. I took out money and I walked over to deposit that money because that was the US. I was going to go deposit it in Kasikorn because I needed some money in my Kasikorn account. I don't know why I didn't use Wise, whatever the reason was. But so I go over to Costco and I put the money in. I go back and I go, oh, where's my ATM card? I go, oh no, I left it at the bank. So I go back to the bank. The bank was just opening up. I start talking to them. Oh no, cannot. We cannot. And I'm like, please. I was just here 10 minutes ago. The ATM card. No, you need to write your bank in the US. And I go, that's going to take me a month to get everything now. I'm going to be out of action for a month. Please, can you help me? Finally, the lady goes, 1 minute. She's a little on the cranky side. And she went over and called the head office. The head office gets on the phone. I explained to them. They said, okay, no problem. Let me speak to the lady. I put the lady back on, and I'm thinking, yeah, all right, honey. So she goes. The ATM card is right on the very top. She takes it off real quick, gives it to me. And I say, thank you. Okay. And I start walking away. No. You have to sign for it. I was like, okay, no problem. So I signed for it. And then that was the end of it. I got my card back, and I was very, very lucky. Although I don't use that card much anymore. I just don't. Can drivers need multiple phones, one for contact? Well, dude, people use their phones for all kinds of things, and um, they have a personal and a business account. My wife has a personal phone and a business phone. I used to have multiple phones. I don't want them anymore because I barely want a phone. I don't want people always being able to call me and bug me and you know. So for me, that's how. And I've started turning my phone off a lot more, and I've deleted all. I've said this also, but I've deleted all the apps on my homepage. So there are the only apps are like my email and what is it, Line, Wise, and I think the browser. So those four are on the very bottom. Other than that, you have to search for the app because I'm like, I don't want to make it easy for myself to just be sitting there all day on the phone because I don't want to do that. Life is not on your phone. It's a tool, and that's it. It's nothing more than that. That's how I view it, and that's how I'm gonna stick to that. But listen, foreigners always get routed to the headquarters for verification. If you're Thai, this stuff might be handled and it might just be instantaneous. But if you're not, everything goes to an office in Bangkok, and maybe there's only like two people sitting there going through everything manually, and it can take forever. So, you have to be careful. But has anyone here had headquarters verify something for you besides Jim? And how long did it take? Because everything I've ever had to have done through HQ has always been done within 24 hours. I've always had great luck with them. What pissed me off is that their app sent me through the whole registration process, especially for foreigners. It was after I submitted the request that I was told to appear in person. Well, I understand that, but sometimes unfortunately you have to go to the bank. And again, nobody cares what you want, um, how inconvenient it is. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know. And I'll tell you, I just did a video. I haven't put it up. I don't even know if I'm gonna put it up. I may put it up in the members section. I'm not sure. But it's basically saying, I don't care what you think. And I don't mean that in a negative, hostile way. I just don't care. So when people comment to me and they leave me nasty comments, every once in a while I get one. I don't get them very often, but every once in a while I get them. I don't care. You disagree with me? Okay, great. I'll take what you have to say into consideration and think, am I right or wrong, or how should I feel? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. But at the end of the day, I can't care because I just don't have any fucks to give. I just can't care. You know. I had my Truist account locked several times because I took money out from the Thai ATM and it said, um, we show that you're outside the U.S. and we think this could be fraudulent activity, and you need to call the card department or whatever. And it was off hours, so I had to wait for 8 hours, 10 hours before I called them. Now I think you can just call them at any time and it will work. You can get them to unlock it, but they've since stopped doing that. You can tell them, I'm going to be in this place, this place, this place, and you know what? Just keep it in the system because I don't want to get locked out. And I haven't been locked out in years. The clerks at its branch were the least helpful staff of any organization or business that I deal with. Although in several businesses they are incompetent, but at least they are nice. Well, there's an old story about people that are incompetent and people and who are nice and people who are very competent but they are not very nice. I heard this a long time ago when I first came to Thailand. There's a lady who works at, you know, XYZ office and she's very competent, very on the ball. She's got everything uh, that she needs to be a great employee, except her customer service skills are very poor and she's not very nice. Now, there's another woman who is very nice, very sweet, very kind, but she's incompetent. Who do you think is the first person to go? You would think the incompetent will go first, but that's not the way that it works all the time because they want a team. They want you all to gel together. And even if somebody's incompetent, Joe, he's always screwing up. Okay, as long as you're not costing them big money, they don't care. They'd rather let go of the person who is not very nice because they don't want to have any issues dealing with them. If you had to pick one Thai bank, well, I wouldn't pick just one Thai bank. Which one would it be? Would it be Kasikorn? I would say for me, it would be Kasikorn. I'm hesitant to say SCB because SCB is so busy and so many people are there, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I have UOB also, United Overseas Bank. It used to be Bank of Asia. It got bought out by UOB. And I like them, and there's not very many people there. So I would say Kasikorn and maybe UOB or even TTB. TTB is kind of I don't know. It's okay. And SCB is okay, but there's a lot of people. I went yesterday to uh, pull a little bit of cash out from the ATM, and I went by SCB. I was going to Kasikorn. I went by SCB, and there was a line at 11 o'clock because the bank opens at 11 there. Some of the banks open at 10:30. This bank, there was a line of about 25 people just waiting to get in, and I thought, oh my God. But, they do have a lot of tellers. They may have 6, 8 tellers, something like that. So you're not there that long, but it's still. So I would say either SCB or for me, UOB is, I like UOB. I really like it. I don't have a credit card or bank card with them. I just have a bank account and I have my kids' names on it and they can never close it. So no matter what. And if I put money in there, when I put money in there, hey, what's going on, Billy? When I put money into that particular account, I know, well, if something happens to me, Alex or Nicholas can go right to the bank, boom, take the bank book and take it in and go, okay, you got 50,000. I want 50,000 right now. And they'll give it to him, right? If he needs money, he can get it right away. Whereas some of the other banks, it might be a little more trouble to get the money out if something happened to me. SCB is pretty good, but I would say it's close to one of the best. And Bangkok Bank, I just from all the stories that I've heard, I had an issue once changing cash with them. They were like meticulous about checking every single bill. I was like, oh my God, this is before Super Rich was the big way to go through. You used to just go to Krung Sri and Bangkok Bank. And I went to Bangkok Bank, and man, I mean, I had like $500, and they looked at every single bill. They looked at it with a what do you call it, a magnifying glass. And I was like, I just got these from the ATM. Okay? That's where they're coming from, the ATM. But of course, they can't trust you. They have to believe that maybe you got these from somewhere else. Maybe they're counterfeit. And at the end of the day, it was a small hassle. I've had a couple hassles with them before. They told me, oh, if you want to open another account, you got to go to the embassy and get your address and everything verified. And I went, okay, whatever. That's $50. So, you got to get it notarized. So I did that. That was a long time ago. Um, but, for the most part, I've never had a real problem with them. But I keep very little money in Bangkok Bank. When I put money in a Bangkok Bank, I don't put more than a couple thousand baht. If I need big money for something, I'll set it up. But most of the time, I'm not putting any money in there. Looking forward to stuffing. What? Nada. Looking forward to stuffing. My Wi-Fi was squirrely for a couple days. My old arse couldn't figure out the reset button. That's a big problem. That's why here I have the 5G, which is nice. If something happens, I just use my 5G. It works out really nice here. All right, let me continue here. Now, how to upgrade your phone without having problems. And there are no guarantees, period. You might think you have all your ducks in a row, and they might be. But then you find out there's some new policy that nobody's talked about, that you've never heard about, and even your Thai friends have never heard about it. They're like, and you're just SOL, and just like many other things in Thailand, they got you by the short and curlies. So what you have to try to do is, and this is something a guy told me a long time ago. He goes, don't put yourself in a position of disadvantage. Why would you only have one bank account with all your money in it when oh, well, we can close this bank account? They can do that. So why not keep cash on hand, cash in another bank, and the majority of your cash back in the U.S., where I think things probably are a little bit safer. That's just my opinion, but you know. What the max insurance coverage on deposit accounts? Basically, do they have an equivalent? It's a million baht. It's a million baht. That's what it is. It's not 250,000. It's a million baht, which is quite a bit less than 250,000. So, for me, you keep what you need in the bank. You keep the 800,000. You do whatever, but you keep that in one account. You don't touch it. You leave it alone, and maybe you put 825 in there. Then you have another account or two accounts that you use for your spending, for paying. But I use each account for a particular reason. This one's for groceries. This one's for transportation. This one's for spending. This is a savings account. This is a brokerage account. Savings for cash savings, things like that. Then cash on hand. That's what I do. But it's kind of worked out that way because for some reason, I've said it before, but I have 5 different banks in Thailand, 7 different accounts. So I have Bangkok Bank, UOB, Kasikorn, TTB, and SCB. And then in the US, I have Capital One, Charles Schwab, and Truist. I don't use Capital One very much. It's basically used for Amazon, and I only get paid from Amazon every like 3 months or so. And it's not very much. It might be $20, something like that. So that's how come I've got all these accounts, and I just don't want to shut them, you know. Why would I shut them now? Is it smooth to transfer between different accounts for if you want to transfer? Oh, that's easy, man. Have you been to Thailand before? Um, Now, how to protect yourself. And this is kind of a checklist that you should have. And like I said, there are no guarantees, but you do your best and hopefully you put yourself in the position where you're not in a position of disadvantage, daipriap, which is you have the advantage. You want to have the advantage, okay? Um, do not delete your bank app from the old phone. Shut the phone off. See if that works. The old phone stays alive until the new one is working flawlessly. You keep it charged and you don't uninstall anything. You make sure your passport number is updated before you switch phones. The bank has your passport number. It's consistent all the way across, just like your photo, just like your mobile phone. They have to be consistent. So go to your branch and confirm that they have the right number. And if they don't, then you need to update it immediately. Make sure your SIM is registered in your name, not your wife's name, not your girlfriend's name, not your buddy's name, in your name. Now, you can go to AIS, True, DTAC, whatever, and you can get proof that you own the number. Listen, banks love this kind of paperwork. If there's ever any doubt, kill them with paperwork. That's what you do. Just overwhelm them with paperwork. Bring your marriage certificate. Seriously, bring your marriage certificate. And they go, oh, he's married to a Thai. Oh. And if you got kids, bring their certificate of birth abroad. Bring their birth certificate. Everything. You want to make them go, oh, wow. Oh, he's got everything. He's got his act together. Oh, wow. That's what you want. Now, if you're going to do a phone switch, you don't do it on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. You do it Monday through Thursday so that if anything goes wrong on a Saturday, you're not dead until Monday. And like I said, you want to be consistent. You either have a beard or be clean shaven for the facial verification, but be consistent with what your passport photo is, and that should help you. And it sounds rather stupid, but this can and does cause failed know your customer checks, and that can take days to fix, unfortunately. Like I said, bring everything to the bank if something goes wrong, and I mean everything: passport, bank book, old phone, new phone, SIM paperwork, driver's license, marriage certificate, birth certificate of your kids, everything. You want to overwhelm them with proof, whether it's related or not. Now, this one's, you should know this, but turn off your VPN if you're using a VPN. Banks hate VPNs. Uh, I have turned on my VPN, forgot that it was on, and then I went to SCB, and SCB tells you you need to shut off your VPN before you log in. So set up with a clean connection and no VPN, period. The SIM that is registered with the bank doesn't match. Well, it needs to. It really does. You need to change it to where it matches. Think about it. That's how they verify you are you. I mean, if you have two phones, well, then you got to put the app on the phone that is registered and matches the one at the bank. Yeah, as far as making transfers between banks in Thailand, I mean, that's a piece of cake. It takes seconds. That's it. I mean, it's so easy. You can do it in an ATM. You can do it through your app. You can do it online if they have a website. You can do it however, but it only takes a few seconds. That's a piece of cake. I mean, you got the QR code here. You want to pay, they got prompt pay that you put their phone number in there and you pay them like that. I was going to do a thing a long time ago that said, I went a week, I didn't use any cash. And I've still been thinking about doing that. But, the bottom line is I always carry a little bit of cash with me. Every once in a while there'll be some old guy and he'll go, "Oh, I don't have that. No, you gotta pay in cash." The app was looking for my old SIM. It didn't find it on my new phone. But didn't you have that on your new phone? I don't understand. The app was looking for my old SIM. It didn't find any on my new phone. Yeah. They issued a new SIM with my old number. It had the same number or no? And who issued that? Why would you get a new phone? Why would you get a new SIM? It wasn't an eSIM, was it? See, for this kind of thing, I have an eSIM on my phone. I'll be proactive and go into AIS a couple days before I buy a new phone and say, listen, I'm going to buy a new phone in a couple days. I have my eSIM, but I don't want to worry about the banks and having problems and then maybe I'll even go into the bank. And I hate going into banks. I hate sitting there and having to talk to them, and I don't want to deal with them anymore. Just use the ATM, use the app, use Wise, whatever it is. Use your bank card, use a Wise card, whatever it is. I prefer that. Like I said before, you want to keep your old phone. You don't want to do anything like throw it away or give it to, your kid's Somchai or something like that. You want to keep it for at least 48 hours after the app works. You don't assume it's done until you give it a few days. You have to give it a few days. Same number, AIS put a new SIM. So I'm not a telecommunications guru. I just paid for a new phone. Yeah, see, I don't understand that. Why didn't you just take out the SIM and put the SIM in? If it wasn't an e-pay, e-SIM, you could have just taken it out and put it in a new phone, and you would have the same SIM card in there. I always try to use my credit card or the prompt pay. Keep my cash available. Yeah. I just don't put much cash. I don't have a lot of faith in the Thai banks, and I have a lot more faith in the U.S. banks and cash. And the thing with cash is you're not earning any money. You're not earning interest on it. You know. Be back in 10 minutes. Taking took to pick up car at car wash. All right, Jim. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would keep maybe I'd keep 20,000, 50,000 in it, but I wouldn't put much more than that in it. It depends on how bad I need the money. If I don't need the money, then I have confidence it'll all be worked out. I do have confidence. The Thai banks are not out to screw you. They're not out trying to do that. They're trying to protect their own interests, which I do kind of understand. Hello, London. I do understand that. Okay, now, as I said, you need to have one or two backup bank accounts just to be safe. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense to me. Really, it just doesn't. You got a million baht. Why would you put it all in one bank account and go, okay, well, I'm going to draw from this, and why would you do that? Keep 150,000, keep your 800,000 in whatever bank you need to keep it in, just leave it there, and then put the rest of the money somewhere else. Use your American card, use your Australian card, your British card, whatever it is. And I know several Australians, they never use, if they're going to use anything, they use cash. They don't even worry about having a Thai bank account, which I think is very useful. Uh, you can use the Thai bank for many reasons. to pay a lot of bills, you can do that. I pay my electric bill with it. My electric bill is usually, well, it had been about 7,500. Now it's about 4,500. But this month, because it's cold, I'm hoping it's going to be like 3,000. I'm praying it's going to be like 3,000. So I save a little bit of money. Uh, but you need to have a backup account. So if you got Bangkok Bank, get a Kasi Korn account. If you have a Bangkok Bank, get a Krung Sri account or SCB account. If you have a Kasi Korn account and you don't want Bangkok Bank, get an SCB, get a UOB, get a TTB, get whatever it is. Just get another bank so that if one app collapses, the other will keep you alive. And, as I've said numerous times, I have all these bank accounts. Kasi Korn, the only reason I have Kasi Korn is because when I was teaching English many, this is like 30 years ago, the school said you must have a Kasi Korn account and we will transfer into Kasi Korn. Okay. So it was very easy. I opened up a Kasi Korn account. When I first came here, I opened up TMB. It was right next to the Landmark Hotel on Sukhumvit, because Sukhumvit was the area where I was most of the time. Opened up that bank so that when I was moving here, I could transfer money, and I transferred a couple 100,000 into the account. That was the first account that I've had, and I've always had that account. The UOB I opened up just for my kids. The Bangkok Bank, for various reasons, I opened up Bangkok Bank, and SCB was, I don't know why I did. I can't even remember now. This happens. I mean, but usually, like I said, I keep cash on hand or maybe 5,000 baht or less in these accounts, and the rest of the time I use my U.S. cards. I use my virtual Wise card for automatic payments. And then starting this week, I should be using my physical Wise card. And that's the card I'm going to use most. And at my Charles Schwab, I keep some in my checking account for groceries. So I put a couple hundred, maybe $300, $400 in there for groceries. And then I put another, say, 300, 400, 500, whatever I want to save to go into the brokerage account. So I'm moving the money around, but most of the time it's being moved in the U.S. But you want to keep cash on hand because you don't want to rely 100%. If the system goes down in a country where systems go down, you don't want to be that guy and you go, well, I don't have any money, but I got, 2 million baht sitting in the bank. I can't get my money from America because the ATMs are all down. Now, that happens. It's probably happened twice since I've been here in 31 years. It doesn't happen much, but just to be safe, you might want to do it. So I'm curious to know what banks you guys have, if you have any, if you've had an app failure and how long it took to fix it. Because I know I'm in a rather fortunate situation where so far, I have not been nailed by any of the banks. Some people never have any problems with them. Now, I have been very diligent about making sure that when I got a new passport, boom, they gave me a new number. I got it all changed. I had to get my visa, everything situated. And I went into the bank and I said, listen, this is my old passport. This is my new passport. I need to update everything. And they said, okay, no problem. What's the benefit of the Wise physical card? Isn't it just a debit card like the Schwab? Well, it is, but you use the Wise account to transfer at the market rate and with very low fees. Whereas with Charles Schwab, there might be a little bit of a fee to transfer. And also, I use mainly the Charles Schwab as a brokerage account for me. It's not really. I mean, I use it for groceries, but that's about it. I separate. Each account has its own purpose. I don't want to lump all the money together, even though it's not a huge amount of money, but I just don't want to do that. So what I'm wondering is, How many of you have bank accounts here? Cyrus. I know Jim does. Which Thai bank is that? I believe Billy still has one. Bruce, you've got to have one. Yeah, I believe Bruce probably has one. I don't know about anybody else here. I'm just curious. Curious to know. Inquiring minds would like to know. I'm curious to know which most people that I've talked to think that Bangkok Bank is really bad. Hey Jim, they think that Bangkok Bank is bad, and what I'll say is I don't think they're any worse than any other bank. Quite frankly, they're doing what they need to do to keep scammers and people that shouldn't be accessing the accounts and using the accounts from using them. They're trying to do that. You have Kashi Korn and Krung Thai. Okay. And you like them? There's no problems? No app problems or anything like that? I like, do I have it over here? No. I like the, what is it? The UOB. I like it because it's got my kids attached to it. And so I don't have to be there and they can take money out. Hey Jim, how you doing? Applied for my first tourist visa. Sad what has happened with visa exemption. The ease is ended. Get the proper visa, folks. They are refusing everyone on visa exemption. No problem. Well, Jim, how long are you planning on staying? I mean, if it's just 3 months, then it's easy. 4, 5 months. Yeah, but I mean, really you should have this is what happened. Somebody said to me a long time ago, and some of you may still remember the guy. And he said to me, Thai immigration is kicking me out. I said, how are they kicking you out? Well, they told me that I can't keep coming into Thailand on my tourist visa. I said, do you have a visa or what? And he goes, no, I don't have a visa. I said, well, then you're on a visa exemption. You don't need a visa and you're coming and you're able to stay for 3 months at a time and you got to go out, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know, but I've been doing this for years. And I said, yeah, I understand that. They don't care what you want. They don't care what you. This is the thing. Just think, nobody cares about me. That's how you have to think. The Thai government doesn't care. Oh, well, I did this the last time, and listen, I could give you 200 baht, and they don't care about all that stuff. All they care about is, are you following the rules, yes or no? I understand that, but if he's only here for 5.5 months or 5.25 months, then it doesn't matter. But okay, it's a pain in the ass. You got to go out of the country, or you gotta go out of the country once. You gotta get your extension. That can be a pain in the neck. But what I will say is, just like what I was gonna tell the story, is the guy said to me, they're kicking me out. I said, well, you don't have a long-term visa saying you live here. And I was trying to think, and I'm going to do a video about this. Why is Thailand more difficult for tourists when they want more tourists? And the only thing that I can think is they want proper tourists. They want people who, when they come to Thailand as tourists, that's what they are. And a tourist doesn't stay here. Yeah, you have to get the embassy. That's an affidavit of your address and all that other kind of stuff. Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, Jim, Jim, how long are you planning on staying? You know, if you're staying for a long period of time, I understand. But anyway, he said to me, no, they're kicking me out. I said, dude, you don't have a long-term visa. So what you are doing is effectively you are living here on a tourist visa. And I understand, yeah, well, it used to be this way. I used to do this 31 years ago. I used to come here on a tourist visa that was good for a year. You actually got 15 months. I did that in the beginning, but this is a long time ago. That the policies were very lax. They didn't worry about people doing things that they're doing now, and it was very easy. So that's a different time. Now they're worried about it. And I think about it, well, why are they making it more difficult? Well, they're making it more difficult because they want proper tourists. They don't want some tourist like some guy who decides he's going to stay here and live. Mommy's going to send him a stipend for, $1,000 a month or $800 a month or whatever, and then they can just live here as long as they want. But they don't have to get a proper visa, and a proper visa being a B visa, an M visa, an O visa, an OA visa, whatever it might be. On a separate note, on my way down the road, they're widening the road, construction on both sides, and I'm on the motorbike driving in my lane where a truck going opposite way pulls into my lane. All right, Jim, this stuff happens. What are you gonna do? They're working on streets here in Lad Prow, and it can be a nightmare. Think about what they're doing in Pattaya. You know, they're always doing stuff, and it's not really something that I want to worry about. Just went next door to Krung Thai and no problem. Showed my passport, and I think I had a copy of my condo lease. Okay, well, that probably sufficed. He clearly saw me but kept coming. I had to pull off into the construction area to avoid him. Might been right. Jim, you got to learn to say might been right. He's got the bigger vehicle. You don't want to go head on with him. If you had a big truck and he had a tiny little motorcycle, you might do the same thing. I don't know. But the point is, why get irritated by it? You know, it is the way it is, and believe me, sometimes I get pissed off and I just go, I mean, there's all kinds of things. And, I talked about the guy who I'm not going to name names or anything, but this guy that I know went into the coffee shop. Hello there. He went into the coffee shop, and the music was too loud, and he asked him 2 or 3 times nicely to turn the music down. Finally, he got pissed, and he went behind the work area and said, if you don't turn that music down, I'm going to stick that radio up your ass. Um, and I thought that was too much. Honestly, you don't need to do that. It's not worth it. You know, it's just not worth it. You don't have to get like that. Maybe the old me would, well, the young me might have done that. But the old me, I would figure that at some point the music is not going to be that loud because there was no one in the mall at that point. And so the lady wanted her music up. And yeah, I didn't like it either, but I'm not going to get pissy about it. Now, when I've asked, they turned it down. They turned it down. I don't know why. But it's not worth getting bent out of shape about. Same thing with a car and all that. I mean, listen, I hate to say that, but might been right, might been right. Well, listen, you know what really irritates me is when you're going straight down a big road like Lot Prow, and then you got 4 or 5 cars, 10 cars that are trying to make a U-turn in front of you, and you're driving along, and all of a sudden you just stop. Oh, go ahead, and you let everybody go. There's no stoplight. There's no stop sign. Keep going. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to let everybody drive and come into your lane and turn in front of you. And anyway, Yeah, well, think about people with Mercedes. They've got a hierarchy. And anyway, let's see. How about, has anyone had their verification take longer than a week? Has anyone lost access because maybe they had a beard or a photo mismatch or a passport that needed to be updated, or a mobile phone that needed to be updated? Uh, you know, to me, the banks they're pretty good here, and I gotta say, they got their act together with the financial system. I'm talking about the QR code, the prompt pay, the transfers, all this other kind of stuff. They have their act together more so than in the U.S. And you can say, oh yeah, but it's QR. They're trying to do this and trying to do it. Well, then use cash then. I understand there are places that don't want to take cash, then don't go there. That's all. You know, I mean, right? Am I right or am I wrong here? There's also many legit tourists that go to Thailand 3 or 4 times a year or more on the exemption stamp for a week or two. They'll lose some tourism from those types. Well, they can get a tourist visa, which is no, 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 no. Yeah, valid for 6 months. So they can go for 6 months. You know, Bangkok Bank also charges a fee if you try to withdraw cash from another branch. Kasi Corn and doesn't. Bangkok Bank has never charged me for withdrawing from a different branch. They have charged me for withdrawing money from a different province. Okay, and I don't even know because I don't usually I withdraw the cash here. When I go to another province, I have the cash on me, or I'm using a card or whatever. I respect what they're doing in regards to eliminating fraud. I just wish there was consistency is the big word, and transparency. Yeah, that's the big word, right? Now, let me see here. Let me see something here. Um, Oh yeah, I've got the live stream goal today set at 5. How many do I have? I don't have any. None. Which doesn't really surprise me, quite frankly. Um, I've never paid an ATM from Bangkok Bank, regardless of bank. Well, if you're in a different province, you will pay. They're gonna make you pay. I think it's different province, you pay. You transfer money from a different province, they used to make you pay. I'm not sure about now. They may have changed that. Don't forget about my book, The Expat Survival Guide, Living Smart in Thailand. Download the PDF instantly for $9.99 and get the no BS truth about visas, money transfer scams, bar girls, healthcare, daily survivor, blah, 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 blah. The link is down below in the description. Now, something I want to work on in the next couple of months is I want to make a video guide to living here. And I want to keep it rather simple, but I want to try to cover quite a few areas of life in Thailand, what you need to do. I don't want to get into some things, but um, there are just certain things you don't do here and certain things that you do here. And I can just make a quick list, boom, and bang it out. But I plan on doing that pretty soon, so look for that. That's supposedly coming soon. Um, yeah. Now, let's see here. What am I looking at? Now, changing phones in Thailand should not really be a battle, but it can be for sure. The system is old. somewhat paranoid. Thank you, Jim, very much. Thank you. Good old Jim. Appreciate it. Give him a thumbs up, please. Give Jim a big thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it. We'd all appreciate it. Let me see something here. How many does he have? One? That's it? Nobody's giving him a thumbs up? Come on. There you go. I think he's got two now. He should be, listen, we got 36 people in here. He should have 36 thumbs up. But I understand some people are probably walking around. Maybe they're listening in the background or something like that. Whatever. But thank you, Jim. Choke D to you. I appreciate it. Yikes. New phone allows me to send you money. Old phone wouldn't. Hey, that's good. I think if you follow the steps that I laid out, you have a much better chance of avoiding the nightmare of being locked out. Now, Jim was kind of lucky because it didn't take you very long. It took you a couple days. And that's it. Well, thank you, Mr. Billy. If you go in blind, the system might just chew you up and spit you out, and that's the truth. And as I always say, Thailand is great in many, many ways, but you gotta kind of know how things work here. If you prepare yourself, you will usually be in control. And if you do not prepare yourself, entities such as banks will control you. Now, as I have said many times, I love it here. There are negatives here. There's negatives in every country. So get over it, get past it, and move on and have a great life here, because you can. I think things are a lot better here than in the U.S., but then I haven't been in the U.S. for a long time. Wow, that's good, Billy. That's really good news. What was I going to say here? I forgot. Let me get to the stream again, and I'll next. Thank you for liking. Likey. What was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought and forgot about what I was going to say. We're all chowderheads to banks. Yes, we are. Bank clerk told me she'd call when I was approved. Never received a call from her. I received a stock email from Bangkok bank website telling me that I was approved. What are you going to do, man? You really have, there's no real, you can't really do anything. And that's the thing. There's very little you can do. You're a foreigner here. You are a guest here. And there's only so much you can do here. So that's why, listen, there's a reason why they have Mai Pen Rai, Jai Yen Yen, they have all these sayings. And I believe that if you learn to implement them on occasion, your life will be much easier. And let me tell you something. There's not very much that I worry about. Really, I just don't worry about all that much because I know I'll be okay. I may be a little bit irritated by some, I don't like them doing this, I don't like them doing that, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'll be fine. And I've thought about many other places to live for a long time now, and no, you're on your own here. I hate to tell you that. You are on your own. But you're on your own in America, for the most part. Okay, maybe you have family or something like that. But you're on your own, man. You are responsible for everything that takes place. Even if they're responsible, it's your responsibility to take care of it. You can't just think to yourself, oh, well, so-and-so will help me with it. Listen, you can't always get, your cop friend to help you do something. You can't always get your guy at the immigration to help you out because, first of all, you're going to owe them. But second of all, That's not the way to do it, in my opinion. You don't want to rely on others. And that's why I gave such a hard time to the guy who told me, well, I live in Phuket with my wife, and she goes everywhere with me. And if I need to buy something, she just gets it for me. And I'm like, dude, what are you, 4 years old? Learn to speak a few words of Thai. Learn how to communicate in sign language, whatever you need to do. But learn how to do that. Even, listen, Jono knows how to speak basic Thai, and it helps him. It's very simple. Learn how to speak a little bit of a language. You're in their country. They speak a different language than you. They don't speak English. That's not their first language. You know, who knows, man? Sometimes I use my 5G and I try to make a payment and it will just spin and spin and spin. And so then what I do is I make sure that the Wi-Fi is off and I'm using the 5G, only the 5G. There is no Wi-Fi. Maybe it's trying to catch the Wi-Fi and, who knows? Yeah, I mean, I've thought about places for a long time, and I think Thailand is still one of, if not one of the best, if not maybe the best. But there are some things that I don't like, but they're overshadowed by everything that I do like. And if I find a place that I really, really like, that I want to live part-time, I'll do it. And if you don't like Thailand, hit the road, Jack. Nobody's going to complain. Nobody's going to say, oh my God, he spent so much money here. Most of the time, nobody's going to care. Seriously. You're Joe Schmo. Well, they're not going to get my money anymore. Damn it, I'm leaving. I don't like that policy. Okay, go ahead. Nobody cares. Really. The only person who cares is you. That's it. If I ever have to leave this country, I don't want to. But if I'm ever in a position where I must leave the country, I will do so. And I will do so with grace and, okay, whatever I got to do, I'll do it. That's the way that it goes. That's life. I am fortunate that I've found many reliable people in a variety of occupations here who always assist me. There are others who just don't give a shit. Yeah, I mean, listen, I got my connections, but, for the most part, well, I mean, I just say don't let the door hit you in the ass. I mean, if you want to go, good. Hey, good luck to you. That's how I think of it. Good luck to you, buddy. I hope you do well. My buddy moved to Cambodia. Now, I personally think about Cambodia, even though I know it's an upgrade from how it used to be, and it's very easy with the visa for now. I know about that, but I still think like it doesn't have anything on Thailand. I just don't believe it. I mean, listen, Sarni's, come on, man. There's a million coffee shops. That's the thing. Coffee shops are a dime a dozen. Sarni's is a good coffee shop. I admit that. I always say that. It's a little bit pricey coffee shop. But, what else are you going to do? You go to another coffee shop. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, I don't have it I don't have it here, I think. I have this Hario drip. Oh, is this the one? Maybe this is it. And it's fantastic. Hario is tied for number 3. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's number 3 on the list as one of the best. Davin Coffee and Cafe is the best. 66 Cottage is behind that. Hario Coffee. Caro Coffee, which is right near Jono. And then we have like Blue Gold, Jump at the Sea, which is in Cosamet. Pacamara, which is a chain. Very good. Bartell's, Blue Stamp, Dark Cafe, Goose Cafe. Very good place. La Mesa, which is fantastic. There's a lot that are tied for number 10. But anyway, the point is that if you don't want to go to Cafe Amazon for your coffee, or you don't want to go to Starbucks for your coffee, there are a lot of really good coffee shops around that you can go to. Besides Sarni's. Sarni's is a very good one, and I've been to all the Sarni's now. Uh, but you know, it's a coffee. It's a place to hang out. For me, it's the atmosphere. And is it when you drink it, you go, "That's good coffee." Now, I was going to make dirty coffee for myself here, and I forgot. I didn't make it. So now I don't have my dirty coffee, but I have my cream, I have my milk, I have my white chocolate that I all mix together, put the espresso on top of it. I know how to do it now. I got it wired, and it's very, very good. But I didn't make it today, so I'll make it later after the stream. Um, so anyway, hopefully you will follow the steps that I laid out, and you will avoid the problems. Don't let any banks control you. Don't let any of these financial situations get to you. Just stay calm, stay relaxed, and try to work with them, because they will try to work with you. That's their job. And most of them, even though some of them act like maybe they don't care, all right, they don't care about you personally, but they care about, oh, I got to get this done. Most people do care that they get their job done. Now, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to show your support for the channel, you can do so. Hit the join button down below, and for as little as $1.99, you can get in there. If you want to just say hello or you need a consultation, you can email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. That's all it takes to get a hold of me. Kin Coffee in Chayapum. Okay. If I'm living in Cambodia, it's not by choice. No, it would not be by choice for me either. That would be a last minute getaway just to set up for the time being to figure out, okay, now what am I going to do? Because I really don't want to go back and live in America. Things would be very, very difficult to do that. So, now listen, I wanted to ask something. How has the sound been on this live stream? On a scale of 1 to 10, how has the audio been? Has it been good? Has it been okay? Has it been poor? How has it been? Has it been good or bad? Basically, that's all I need to know. Good or bad. And I'll tell you what, I have 2 of these microphones coming later this week. Sound is 10. Okay. Sound good, 8. I have 2 of these microphones coming. And the reason that I bought the 2, if you buy one microphone, you get all the stuff that comes. Basically, you get all the stuff that I got already. You don't get the receiver. And that's what I need. It allows you to change the gain. It allows you to, and what it really does, because 2 people have complained about the sound. I don't really think the sound is all that bad, but I need a little bit of an upgrade. So what happens is right now I'm connecting directly through the Bluetooth. If you have the receiver, you plug it into the phone, you set the gain and all that other kind of stuff, and it connects to the receiver. The receiver does all the work. It doesn't go through Bluetooth. So apparently it makes a huge difference. So I'm hoping that my sound will be much better this coming week. Anyway, that is all I have. I just wanted to check on that because it does matter. I want the sound to be good on all the videos and live streams. But until next time, I am Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerken mai, which is good luck, and see you again. Dule di di. Take care of yourself. Be well, and I will talk to you later.